Hey everyone, this is Rock from StageandSky.com, and as you can see, the title of this essay or this video, it's probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but I want you to know that this is my second time recording this, because the first time I confess, I may have been a little bit insensitive. Like, I cursed a lot. I was trying to be funny and entertaining, but, you know, if I'm trying to help people, you know, I need to be a little bit more sensitive, because a lot of people, especially my sisters, you know, they were raised a certain way. You know, the strong and independent mantra, a lot of ladies, that's your whole life, right? Like, the idea of being submissive, or to even think to yourself that, you know, you're beneath or weaker than any man, is just absurd, ludicrous, right? You know, and as much as I am going to talk about, okay, men don't care about strong and independent, I'm also going to hit on, you know, that common saying that a lot of women like to throw at us, which is, oh, well, you guys are just intimidated by strong and independent. There may be some truth to that, all right? There may be some truth to that. You guys may be right. The difference between just saying, oh, you guys are just intimidated by, you know, a strong and independent woman is, even if a guy is intimidated, what are you gonna do about it, right? Are you just gonna belittle him and say, oh, you're just intimidated. Oh, men need to step up. What if he doesn't? What if that's not him? Basically, all right, I'm jumping the gun here, but basically a lot of people have preconceived notions about what they think men should be. And unfortunately, there's greater diversity in our personalities. Not everyone's Idris Elba or 50 Cent or whatever, right? Also, if you are strong and independent, I mean, if you're not strong and independent, you know, but you just call yourself that because that's what popular culture and your mother and your aunties have all been telling you to go. If you're not, you're not. Like, let's be honest. Now, what prompted this essay, though the topic's been in my mind for a while, was this quote: "A woman's strength is in her facade of weakness." Now, the speaker who said this, he used this to explain why a lot of men of today's society, they may not be as interested in marriage and long-term relationships as the men of prior generations. And I thought it was weird, and I dismissed it at first. Let me say it one more time. A woman's strength is in her facade of weakness. It's weird, right? Ugh. Now, more and more ladies, especially on TikTok, on Tumblr, or whatever, you know, they're openly asking in today's culture, what's the point of a man?
Do you think men are important?
Like for what?
We'll take a break.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country, and I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
What can men do leaving here? Be better.
It's okay to be.
This is what we're getting for years. The thing is, I don't blame today's women for having these kind of questions. In today's cultural climate, it's completely understandable for a young woman to wonder why it's important to be committed to a man, especially if you're raised by a strong single mother, or you have your career, your education outside of bedroom fun and the sweet validation that comes from attention. What's the point of having a man? Even in entertainment, right? We've been seeing it for a long, long time. There's this push for the strong female characters to encourage women to break free from all those weaker traits traditionally associated with women. By weaker, we're going to get into it. Femininity is what we're talking about here. You know, they've been pushing women in all, like, think of all these Marvel films, right? Every strong female protagonist, they're basically masculine. They fight better than men. They don't need to be saved by no men. And that's what's being pushed into this society. I don't think everyone buys into it, because a lot of women are still getting married, but there's a large group of young women, my generation, millennials, who have bought into the notion, right? So that's why you hear equal partnership and 50-50. We're going to get into all that. Meanwhile, we got guys who scream like this. So let's go back hundreds of years, not too far. Let's stick to early American history. The days of the pioneer, the Wild West, the frontier life. Way back then, men were tough and rugged. They had to be. They had to build their own homes, their own wagons. They had to tame horses, till the fields, protect livestock from wolves and bears and other men. This required a great deal of courage and physical strength and durability. That's not saying women weren't capable of such feats. Alexis de Tocqueville sang about the praises all the time back then. But plainly put, the utilitarian nature of a man's physicality was much more needed and appreciated back then. Kind of like needing a lot of children if you were a farmer, because it gave you more hands to work the fields. Fast forward to today. Now, technology has eliminated a lot of that need. Let's go a step further. In my last couple of essays, I remarked about how ladies are openly admitting that they'd rather just be mothers than wives. And honestly, if you don't believe in living by Christ's standards, or you don't even know what Christ says about it, but you call yourself Christian, as we explained, I can understand why you opt for that. Manasseh highlights daily. He brought this clip recently from the 80s where it was clear that single mothers, they're perpetuating a cycle where they were never taught or saw the importance of man because they didn't have a man that they grew up with.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitment.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
The question was, don't you think you need a man's help raising this baby? And the way she answers the question shows that she doesn't know any better. There was never a father in the house, and in her experience, men are not necessary to raise a child.
I mean, think about it. If you can get government assistance when it comes to food, shelter, or paying for your medical bills, or if you're working a high-profile job making lots of money in your career, do you really need a man that's traditionally provided all that for you?
No man, no real man, want no woman that's 100% independent. It's cool to be self-sufficient. It's cool to be able to get out here and do your thing and handle your business if you need to, but all that 100% independent, I don't need no nothing type attitude. Listen, that ain't gonna get you nowhere with us, okay? Not no real man, because part of the reason we was even put on earth is to protect and provide. If you don't need me to do none of that, what you want me for?
For love, kindness, loyalty, faithfulness, companionship, friendship, a laughter, good times. What? You sound I never heard anything so dumb in my whole life. A real man is not intimidated by a woman that doesn't need you. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. But guess what? I want you, and that's the difference.
I don't need a man, but guess what? I want you. What does that come off as? Doesn't that come off as you're expendable, you're replaceable, you're optional?
Husband should be like Kleenex, soft, strong, and disposable.
Hi guys, just a daily reminder that I ain't never seen a man that I fucking need, bitch. You're all replaceable, don't ever get too comfortable and don't ever think otherwise. You're a guest in this household and you can be kicked out just as quickly as you were welcomed in.
If we're not needed, then we're not important. If we're not important, then we're not relevant. If we're not relevant, then we run the risk of feeling like we don't exist. If in our minds we feel like we don't exist, we run the risk of questioning, what's the point of even being alive? Here's a chart of suicides. And this isn't necessarily the fault of women. If we as men feel like we aren't important or relevant, it's on us to do something about it. As I like to say, if you feel like you don't have a place in this world, keep your chin up and build your place. To this end, I credit God for giving me the purpose to keep going, because I don't have a wife or children. That would bring me a lot of purpose in my life. But until then, I find fulfillment in helping you guys out, helping other people out, preaching the truth about the Bible, and basically attacking this world and all these stupid worldly ideologies. Also, consider the qualities she says she wants in a man. She said,
for love, kindness, loyalty, faithfulness, companionship, friendship, a laughter, good times.
What does that remind you of? All right, that's why I think the stocks of pet supplies have gone up over the past couple years, because more and more you're going to see, instead of families, dog moms. On the notion of protection and provision, I get that today women, they're outpacing men in education, arguably careers. Women indeed make up 85% of the consumer purchasing, which is why corporations basically kowtow to them. When I say that, this sounds bad. I think most men already get it, but ladies, if you're listening to my voice for the first time, all companies care about is money. All right, they don't care about special interests. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. They don't care about Pride Month. All they care about is money. And if you care about those things, Pride Month and stuff like that, they're going to cater to that because they want your money. That's all they care about. Forget your values. Forget what's good for you. All they care about is money. Okay? Now, there's one thing that a lot of ladies, they overlook when it comes to men. Oh, where are all the good men at? Where are the good men at? There's something you guys overlook, okay? By good men, we're talking about godly men here, all right? That's what we're talking about. If you're not a Christian, then I know there are good-natured atheists and agnostics, but we're talking about Christians here. Otherwise, we go into a seminar all day about what is good and what is bad. Good men don't care about money. Let me repeat that. Good men, where are the good men at? They don't care about money. We're not materialistic. We have money because we're hard workers, but we don't place such high value on the number. Instead, we'll seek more money if we need it. If we don't have families that depend on us, or wives or girlfriends that need us, what incentive do we have to work harder, move up the corporate ladder, seek higher paying jobs and roles that may not bring us happiness. For instance, I've had plenty of opportunities to move up to a management position over the years. I knew I would not enjoy those roles. I'm not a management type person. As my college instructor once put it, Rock's the kind of guy where you just tell him what you need him to do and then get the hell out of his way. But Rock, for generations, it's always been a biological imperative for a woman to seek a male with the greatest resources. It's not just for her. She's thinking about her children's comfort and security. It makes sense. And men need to step up. And if they don't have that money and resources, we'll go somewhere else. Okay, I agree with that to an extent. However, I believe my generation, I believe my generation has been so influenced by social media and advertising that a lot of millennials have a heightened expectation, entitlement, and demand about the kind of lifestyles they think they should live. Our parents, our grandparents, they raised 6 to 9 children on one income. Are we really supposed to believe that my generation can't raise a few children on combined income of 5 figures each? All right. And another person commented below and like, well, things have changed, you know, but dude, seriously, it's called living within your means. And the problem with today's society, especially a lot of ladies, is that they don't care to live within their means. They want more. They're advertised to go for more, to travel the world. Almost everyone on these dating sites, that's what they, oh, what do you like to do? I like to travel. Basically everything that costs money. Where are you getting the money from? Oh, I put it on my credit card, or I got it from daddy, or I got it from boyfriend. Well, you know what? I admire a man who has ambition. If you want a wealthy man who has expensive taste and eats at 5-star restaurants and can take you to resorts where you can brag about it on social media, just say that, all right? Everyone, we know. Oh, I want a man with ambition. A lot of us have ambition. We just don't have the same ambitions as you. If the argument is, well, you know what, Rock, you got to get the job first, you got to get the money first, and then the woman will come. That's not guaranteed. Not to mention, I don't think it's wise. What happens if you lose your job or your money? Now what? Should I expect to lose her too? Because she came after I got the money and the job. Now what? Hint. I have a link down below when it comes to top reasons for divorce. Most of them is about money issues. The man lost his job, he can't provide the lifestyle, and suddenly she's no longer happy. Right? We've all seen it. This next point, I hope you understand that these things are not easy to admit. Again, I'm speaking for myself and ladies when it comes to, oh, well, you're just intimidated by strong and independent. This is going to tackle that. Here's the deal. Masculine men hate feeling more feminine than women. Let me repeat that. Men hate feeling as if they're more feminine than the woman they're dealing with. For a lot of us men, when it comes to qualities such as being affectionate, nurturing, sweet, soft-spoken, or supportive, the notion of reaching out and checking on someone to see if they're alright, letting another person know that you're thinking about them, the action of doting on the person, showering them with tender compassion and words of affection, the uplifting quality of brightening another person's day with happy, bubbly demeanor. I know anyone can exhibit these qualities, but for a lot of us men, these are traditionally seen as feminine traits, feminine qualities, the things that Hollywood, they're trying to demonize and say, oh, that's weak. You guys need to be more like men. No, these are positive, strong, feminine traits that we love and we think is beautiful. A lot of men, we have those feminine qualities. All right, we're just careful about revealing ourselves in such a feminine light because, sad to say, we don't trust most people with their softer, more vulnerable sides. A lot of us have been called punks, lame, soft-ass niggas for exhibiting these feminine qualities that are perceived as weakness in men. That's weakness in men. Men are supposed to be leaders. Men are supposed to be to take charge. So it's weakness in men. It's perceived as weakness in men. However, when it comes to women, that's what we are attracted to. People love to say, oh, you know what, times have changed, but men, we're still expected to be masculine. We're still expected to be tough and persevere and brave and take charge and provide and protect. I'm not complaining about any of this. Rollo Tomasi would say, it's the burden and performance that we embrace. But while I do have those masculine qualities, I'm also very caring romantic. That being said, it's one of the worst feelings in the world for me as a guy when it feels like I'm acting more feminine than the woman I'm dealing with. Seriously, I hate it so much. It's so disgusting. It's like a rotten pit in your stomach that you're the sweet, kind, and compassionate one out of this couple here. You know, like your woman's all fierce and strong and masculine, but you're the sweet, kind, compassionate. Hey, like it's a rotten feeling. Again, I know a lot of people will raise a certain way. We're gonna get into that, and I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, you know what? Well, maybe she's not acting feminine around you because she must really not like you." I don't think that's the case. I believe it's based on the individual and how they were raised. The last girl I matched with, she clearly kept her feelings locked away. 26-year-old black surgeon out of South Carolina, and she never gave any compliments. And when she did ask me what I thought about anything, it always turned into a debate where she wanted to compete with me intellectually. She's 26. I'm 35. You know, her go-to phrase was, well, you know, I feel like you aren't hearing me. And she uses it every time, I disagree with her because I was winning the argument. And apparently, unless I agree with her, I'm not hearing her. The most I ever got from this girl was some analytical BS about love language. It was so stupid. There was no femininity in her. It was like talking to an HR rep more so than a love interest. But Rock, what if it's your femininity that's repulsing her? The truth is, I know I said I'm the affectionate romantic type. I really don't think I'm acting all that feminine. I'm 6'3", 225 pounds. I box 3 times a week. I literally daydream about street fighting while I'm working out on the treadmill. I listen to Slipknot. Unlike most of my peers, I didn't gripe about going into office with the threat of COVID. I don't give a fuck about COVID. Never have. Let's go. Here's what I think is going on. All right? Brace yourselves. This is the truth. I believe that some of us were raised by our parents to be husbands and wives. Before we even left the nest, before we even left our home at the age of 18, we were raised to be husbands and wives. While others were raised to be independent, to compete, to go out and compete against men, to run the streets, to have fun and enjoy life. Maybe, just maybe, somewhere down the line, find a spouse.
A Spanish woman, they're raised to be a wife.
But why isn't a black woman raised that way?
Most black women are raised to be independent. Remember, let's be real.
Say that again?
Most black women are raised to be strong, tough, independent, and don't take no shit. The daddy wasn't shit. I raised you alone by myself. Be a strong black woman. So they come into the game with their guard up ready. The Spanish girl is raised to serve. They be cooking for their father at a young age, washing the dishes, washing the table, mopping all Saturday morning. Let's face it, they're raised to serve.
That's why I personally was shocked, when I was 24, this is back in 2010, and I first learned about the hookup culture. I didn't know how widespread it was or how accepted it was, I thought that players and pimps and hoes and whores, I thought that those were outliers. I thought that those were, okay, you did those things, you see it in the movies, but most people didn't live like this because that's wrong. When I found out it was so widespread and accepted and everyone was doing it, I already knew it was the dumbest thing, even before I picked the Bible and read it for myself. But I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world because my parents raised me to date with the intent of getting married, not to sow my royal oats.
You had another woman, she said, I'm Mexican, and what he said is so true. Then you had another modern Latina woman. She said that this is so disrespectful to Hispanic women. I've never served anyone. I was raised to be independent, but also cater and love my children. She said she never served anybody, but she was raised to cater and love children. To me, sounds like someone who was raised by a feminist. This happens all the time with modern women. They get offended when you tell them about serving a man. They make it seem like it's beneath them or you're asking them to do something degrading. They have really big egos and it doesn't come off well to people. No sense of humility or modesty. So this Hispanic woman right here, she was offended by him saying that Hispanic women serve men, but she didn't shy away from being independent. Just like black women, like this one right here. She said, I'm black and I was raised in a 2-parent household. I was raised to be a wife with submissive independence. And that phrase made absolutely no sense. You really gotta watch these chameleons out there. What is this talk about being submissive and independent? And that's the problem with modern women, no matter what the race is. They're always going back and forth, trying to balance between being feminine and being masculine. They're very confused. They want to be men and women at the same time. It's crazy, but it's true. A lot of modern women, they hate men so much because they want to be men. And I never understood that.
Well, you know what? Men, they keep their feelings locked in the vault too, all right? They don't communicate. They're too insecure. They're afraid of looking weak and vulnerable. They wouldn't be if they trusted you. On that note, I'm aware of the logic could go both ways. If you're dealing with a man and you bottle up your femininity, he's probably going to think that you don't trust him either, if he's a good man. Most people don't care. I get it. I'm that kind of guy. I'm like, okay, why is she like this? Does she not trust me? And the problem with that is there's too many ladies out here that thinks a man should just stick around and put up with that tough veneer until you're ready to open up to us. But really, you run the risk of running us off, right? That's why you have all these videos and TikToks of ladies crying, oh, I can't find a man. Or now, we were in the talking phase and never moved past that. It's because of probably stuff like this. This isn't the movies, all right? We're not going to jump through hoops. A lot of us worked hard to get where we're at, and we're looking for a wife with serious intent. But Rock, why do you need to show her your softer side when you're around your girlfriend, alright? Isn't that what your mama's for? Your girlfriend isn't your mama, alright? You're supposed to be her man, her rock, her pillar of strength. She might not want to see you all affection and whatnot. I've actually heard that criticism from other guys, right? Like, this is what some red pill speakers are telling men. Oh, don't ever be honest with her. Don't ever tell her the truth. Don't ever, show her your softer side because she's not there for you. She's not built to handle that. I'm not sure if any of that's true. All I can tell you is what I'm gonna do, all right? It's not so much that I need to show my softer side. It's more like I don't want to have to be in a relationship where I have to hide it, right? If my softer or romantic side comes out in the heat of the moment or because I feel like expressing my affection, call me crazy, but I want a wife who'd appreciate that, welcome it, and reciprocate. I don't want to have to come home every day and pretend to be Stringer Bell or Tupac just to get some love and affection. That's nonsense. That's not who I am. Take this for example, all right? Imagine you're walking down the street and you cross paths with a person, you say hello. And that person doesn't say hello back to you, right? They see you and they just ignore you and keep walking. After you say hello to them, what happens? Right? This has happened to all of us, right? And that feeling is like, okay, well, fuck you too. Like, that's usually the feeling that comes over at that moment. You don't act on it. You can brush it off. But what if it happens again? 3 times in a row. You see this person and they completely blow you off every time. By that 4th time, are you going to say hi to this person? It's the same with texting a person. If you send someone a thoughtful, supportive text message and all they respond with is K, like, are you gonna text that person again? It's the same with us men, us masculine men, when we show our affectionate sides with the woman or lady that we love, and she takes it for granted. She thinks, oh well, he's too soft. All right, bye. And to be frank, I have heard of this being a reason why a lot of guys, they cheat on their wives. I have a link down below. It's the top 30 reasons why men cheat. Some of the reasons include, brace yourselves, that men have an inner childlike need to be nurtured. I know that goes against, again, so stupid how, times have changed, but still be a certain way, right? Some men don't even realize that they have this childlike need until it's too late. One day he'll come across that sweet, bubbly receptionist at brightness day. He becomes regular, and suddenly this girl has him feeling things he's never felt like he could feel, or he forgot he could feel. Loved.
I've never had a pretty girl call me a cute nickname in person, like a babe or a baby or whatever the fuck else girls call their boyfriends. I wouldn't know. Anyways, I was just leaving the gym and there was a pretty girl working the counter as I was leaving, and she said, "Bye, have a good night, sweetheart." And I'm not one of those dudes who like confuses good customer service, like a girl being nice at her job with her flirting with me. Like, I understand she was just being nice. I totally get it. But that didn't stop me from falling in love with her. It didn't. I almost proposed in the middle of the gym. I almost teared up a little bit thinking about it. I'm gonna really think about her for a long time now. Almost gave her my number, gave her my last name, anything she wanted. She could have my social security number, my wallet. Y'all think she's calling other people? Probably. I love her so much.
Wow, Rock, sounds to me like you're just sensitive. All right, thank God all men aren't like you. You see what just happened there? Earlier you complained about men not communicating feelings, and now look what happened when I did. Truth is, a lot of us men are insecure. A lot of us are sensitive. Not about everything. This is the thing. It's a facet of us, right? We're not insecure or sensitive. Like, if I walked out of here hurt over something you said because I care about you, it doesn't mean I'm a sensitive person. It means because I cared about what you think of me. Dummy. Oh, sorry. Think about it, all the tough guys that you see out there, right? I mean, everyone has a weakness. And when it comes to a lot of us masculine men, the love of a woman that we're attracted to, dude, there's legit Marines who have brave IEDs and machine guns in foreign lands, when it comes to wars and campaigns, but they've been broken by women, their exes, That's why some men, they're telling each other, never show your softer emotional side to your woman, because we're reluctant to, because we don't want to get hurt. We are insecure. We love you. We care about you. We care about what you think of us. A lot of men will lie to themselves and say, oh, I don't care what, I can leave her and go somewhere else. Sure, maybe. All men aren't like that, though. I would put money on the fact that most men, we just want one woman who we can grow old with, and that's it. Forget what Eddie Murphy said. Oh, it's in the nature of all men. Eddie Murphy is a celebrity. Eddie Murphy and all these red pill speakers who talk like that, that's the world they grew up with. They haven't grew up with men like me and my brothers who were taught a certain way, and that you treat women with respect. You get married once, you stay married. Your vows meant something. If you say, hey, to death do us part, that's what we mean, okay? A lot of us, they're reluctant to be upfront and honest about these feelings because a couple of reasons. One, we don't want to feel like a bitch who's whining over something that you think is no big deal. I grew up with a lot of female cousins, and one of the worst things, the most cutting criticism I could get is when something hurt my feelings, and then one of my cousins say, "Hey, it ain't that big of a deal." All right, well, you see these tears? They're a big deal to me. They may not be a big deal to you, but they're a big deal to me. Imagine that if that's your girlfriend who, you're hurt about something, and she's like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal." Oh my God, that's so emasculating, okay? Number two. My generation, they claim to be all about empathy. Look at all these look at all these social movements, right? Oh, well, no fat shaming, no this. But oddly enough, when it comes to men's feelings, it's like they could care less, right? They could care less. If they don't understand you, they just don't believe you, or they think you're making up, or it's no big deal, as we go back to number one. Number three, we run the risk of losing your respect. Like those red pill speakers talked about, a lot of people have a preconceived notion of what a real man is. And if your real man, like he comes home just absolutely defeated from the day, oh my God, there's an MMA fighter who dated another MMA fighter, and she talked about how in the middle of the ring, her boyfriend got beat up, and she lost respect for him because of...
We fought on the same card. He fought the day before me. I fought the next day. During the fight, he almost gets knocked out. As this guy is mauling him, he goes like this. What do you think I was thinking?
Not good thoughts.
The boyfriend. My boyfriend was, like this.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
Fuck no.
Did it turn you off?
Oh my God, so much.
Whoa.
I was like, dude, you're getting fucked up, and as you're falling to the canvas, you still need to go fuck you.
Wow.
You're like, fuck you.
Like, whatever happened to the compassionate women? All right, let me keep going on. Number four, we'll likely have to apologize for how feelings made you feel. Number five, it's like telling your parents that you want them to say they're proud of you after you score a goal. And if they say they're proud of you only after you told them, it feels fake. That's why a lot of guys don't tell you, "Oh, Rock, I want you to just be open and honest with me. Tell me what you want me to do. Tell me what you want me to say to you." No, I can't. Because if you say that after I tell you, it means nothing to me. That's why a lot of us men, we're kind of upset with your parents. We're kind of upset with your mom for not picking the right guy to have two-parent households, because you should have been raised and taught all this stuff before I even met you. And if you're a grown woman and you left the nest, again, you got time, but I mean, look at when Kevin Samuels just died. He was trying to tell women the truth all the time, and as soon as he died, they just completely celebrated. Finally, his toxic poison. He wasn't shouting toxic. A lot of his stuff wasn't Christian. I get that, but when it comes to what men want, he was laying it out for you guys, but you would just resist it, because who cares what a man wants, right? Lastly, let's hit on this notion of, y'all just intimidated by a strong woman, all right? Y'all are just intimidated by a strong, masculine woman. Okay, well, let's say that's true. Now what? Because here's what's crazy. For a lot of us men, if we found out that a woman or any other guy was intimidated by us for any reason, if we like the person, instead of belittling them as if we were in middle school, we'd more likely be understanding and try to help that person out, doing what we can to make them feel comfortable being around us. This is what men do. We don't care. Like, we're not trying. There are some bullies. There are some bullies who like to feel dominant and like to exert their dominance. Most men are not like that. Most men, "Oh man, you're nervous? Don't worry about it, man. I got you. We will help you out." This is what the stuff of gentlemen. This is what most men do. Even the most thug Tupac. If you go back to my place, my hometown of Augusta, Georgia, if I pull over to my car in the middle of the hood and I say, "Hey man, I'm lost," dude, that's embarrassing. Most guys will get it. I'm like, "Hey man, I feel you, bro. Let me help you out." So when it comes to the whole notion of, y'all just intimidated by a strong woman. So what if we are? What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna help us, or are you gonna just belittle us? For instance, me, I'm a big black dude. I'm always smiling, I'm always laughing around others, partially because I'm just naturally goofy, but also I don't want people to be afraid of me. It's a rotten feeling when people are afraid of me. I don't like it. My default expression when I'm just walking to the airport, it looks like I'm about to go whoop somebody's ass. You have Stone Cold Steve Austin here. Well, women, we do that too. If we like a guy, we'll try to be more accommodating. If he's intimidated by us, then what's the problem? Why complain that men are intimidated by you? We just want men to admit it. Why? Why is that important to you? To make you feel powerful? Superior? We get that you're strong. We get that you're powerful. But we're men. You see? Good men don't want to feel like they're inferior or weaker to women we're dealing with, mainly because it's a Christian thing. We're supposed to lead. Well, you know what? That's not women's fault. Men, they're responsible for their own feelings. That's true. And some men, how they handle that is they leave you, right? I think of myself, I'm guilty of myself. There's been plenty of women who I've matched with online. Online dating is my route to go because I don't do cold approaches. And a lot of ladies, I give them a shot. I try to talk to them. And if I sense this masculine need to continue to be right and want to compete and, this need to prove that, oh, I'm on your level. I'm just like, I don't care about levels, darling. Like, I'm looking for a wife where we can, I'm looking for someone there. My friend, he said there's like a spectrum, right? When it comes to attributes and personalities. Like, I have all of this. I'm looking for someone who doesn't have all of what I have. I'm looking for someone who has what I lack. I'm pragmatic and callous. I'm looking for someone who's inviting, warm, and, more trusting of others. A team like that, we would do well together. I'm not looking for someone who's trying to be me or trying to compete with me or anything like that. So long story short, if you are strong and independent, exuding those masculine qualities, and you like who you are, go for it, but you're gonna have to seek out men who are far different from me. There are strong, silent types who refuse to show a hint of weakness to the women. Within Black culture, that seems to be a popular stereotype amongst the hip hop crowd, right? But for Black men like me, sensitive types, perhaps this explains why we end up dating outside of our race. It's not because we hate Black women or we think you guys aren't beautiful. I think Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion are fine. All right, those are beautiful women. However, ain't no way we get along. Right? They would think I'm lame, and I think, man, Cardi B, her voice, I can't, right? And we can't be ourselves, without one of us trying to push the other to be someone that we're not. So basically what you're saying is that you have this feminine side to you, and you're looking for a woman who's more feminine than you. Correct. That's exactly right. And again, as much as you want to make it sound like the problem is me for having this feminine side, I'd argue that most women are actually more feminine than me.
White women, they cater better, they're more submissive than Black women. Black women, they talk back.
You have to say
That's
that.
one thing. Black women, we talk back.
back.
We talk back. We don't listen. We're not as submissive as a white woman.
With a regular
they be like,
tone.
honey.
Exactly.
They talk to you so loving. No.
Just not the strong and independent type that a lot of my Black sisters seem to be embracing. All right, choice is yours. And again, I say that it sounds like, oh, he's just super critical. It's not your fault. I get it. But Kevin Samuels was trying to have these conversations with people, trying to help them, before it's too late, and people just shit all over him. So it's like part of me feels bad, but then part of me is like, this is your choice, so I don't know. Let's move on. Men want to be heroes. Ever since we were kids, all of us guys, we wanted to be the one to save the day, in our homes, to our children, for our wives, for our girlfriends, for our friends and family. We get that women may like being heroes too, but I'd argue that it's more important to a man. I.e., men, we aren't raised with the mentality that a woman's going to come and save us if we're ever in danger. No, it's men, and we brace this. This isn't a bad thing. Men, we're better suited for it. It's in our nature, it's in our DNA, okay? Consider my 4-year-old niece. I visited her for the first time since she was a baby last month, and I absolutely adore her. She calls me Uncle Rock, when I'm gone. She asks, Uncle Rock got night-night, because she misses me, so I will make it my business to visit her every year. This girl will be showered with love and affection. She will know, without a shadow of doubt, that she has a fire-breathing dragon out here ready to raise whole cities to the ground if the darkness of her closet so much as frightens her. For her, I will do this because, ladies, she is weak. She is vulnerable. She does need a man like me and my brother, her father, looking out for her. She isn't corrupted by modern ideologies into thinking she doesn't need a man. But I'll only be this way for her in her life until she grows up and starts acting like my cousins who can't even bother to return a text. When that happens and she demonstrates that she no longer needs me or appreciates me as much as she used to, I'll back off. I'll keep my love for her locked away because I don't want it to be a burden to her. I know what that feels like, where, hey, how can you ain't call me? How can you? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to live my life out here, all right? I get it. I'll watch from afar, and if she ever needs my help, guess what? This dragon's coming out. Ah! Wow, Rock, why can't you ever just do things because you want to? Why does everything hinge on how the other person responds to you? Because I have an ego? We all do. The difference between me and most is that I'm aware of it. I think it's normal. I'm not afraid to admit it. For example, if you work your ass off to save up and buy me a birthday gift because you legit want to make me happy, but when you give it to me, I grimace and don't show the slightest amount of appreciation, how would you feel? Alright, you bust your ass for this present. I'm like, oh, a watch. I got like 12 of them. Wouldn't that sting? Wouldn't that hurt you a little bit? I'm of the opinion that there's no such thing as a completely selfish act. Everything we do, we're doing it for motives and reasons we derive satisfaction from, other than just the other person's benefit. Even Jesus Christ, when he died for our sins, he did it not only for our sakes, but he wanted to do the will of the Father, Jehovah God. It was pleasing to Jesus to obey his Father, and God showed appreciation with these kind, loving words of affirmation. This is my son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. So when people say, oh, you shouldn't do things and expect nothing in return, not sure that's entirely possible. At the very least, I suspect all of us expect to at least feel good, accomplished, and fulfilled about what we did from being able to assist another person. However, those feelings can be sullied by a lack of appreciation or complaints or even misinterpretations. Example, oh, he's only helping you because he wants something in return. Correct. A simple thank you would have sufficed. At the very least, not this stupid accusation. I know society has made the damsel in distress to be a figure that's demeaning to women, but it reminds me of that saying, you know what, chivalry's dead and women killed it. I don't believe that chivalry is dead. Gentlemen still exist. It's called integrity, or you do the right thing regardless of a reward or not. We still have it. Men still have it. I do believe in paying on the first date and holding up doors for women. That being said, before I even go on the first date with you, I would have discerned if you're the type of person who would appreciate and welcome my chivalry. If you're not, I'm not going on the first date. That's why you have all your ladies out here on online dating. Oh, I don't want to just text and call. I want to go on the first date. I want you winding down. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not doing that unless I know who you are. All right. Before I even sit down across the table, I want a good picture of who I'm dealing with, and if I don't get that, I'm not wasting my time or my money on you. I'm sorry. Honestly, ever since I was a kid, my parents raised me and my brothers to have the utmost respect and care when it comes to girls. Never hit a girl, offer her your seat, never cheat on her, never break a heart or toy with her emotions. I was the ultimate white knight. I was defending women whether I was attracted to her or not, which is why I hate it when people say, oh, a man's only doing this because he wants to get in your pants. Nope, that's wrong. There's plenty, and I mean plenty of ladies who I stood up for because it was just the right thing to do. And I didn't find them attractive in the slightest. When I was in 7th grade and classmates were picking on a special ed girl, I went and bought the computer desk just to join and keep her company, and someone threw a textbook at the back of it was an algebra book. It hurt like fuck. And I got up. I was ready to beat the hell out of everybody, but no one fessed up. And I looked at one of my friends too. I'm like, what's up? We good? All right. Last year there was a video of a black man punching a woman on subway because she said, take a chill pill. Bruh, if this happened back in my old high school in the early 2000s, it didn't matter if she called him the N-word. This dude's getting jumped. We didn't play that. We protected our women. So when people say things like, oh, you know what, times have changed. Yeah, how's that working for you? Good men want to solve problems. We want to fix the situation. If your car breaks down the side of the road, call me. I got you. If you're feeling a little nervous because some dude's been loitering around outside your apartment, bet I'm on my way. If your grandma's sick and in the hospital, I'll come and keep you company. Again, all men aren't like this. I'm talking about men like myself, right? The good men. But Rock, we don't need you for those things, all right? Times have changed. We can figure it out ourselves. Got it. Where are you going? Weakness can be used to your advantage. Let's go back to that one quote. The strength of women is in her facade. The strength of women is in her facade of weakness. I think it's an interesting quote because it basically means a strength of a woman is her appearance of weakness, the illusion of it. As in, we get it. Women may not need us as much as their grandparents did. However, if they put on the appearance of being in need, we'll be there. And while I want to say that I can't imagine anyone pretending to be weak just to have someone take care of them, it happens all the time, right? Some people take it a little too far, taking advantage of other people's kindness, getting a ride to the store, asking someone to listen to your problems while making themselves the victim, right? Millions of men are in the friend zone right now because these ladies deliberately use them as a shoulder to lean on while they're off getting smashed by Chad and Tyrone. I don't encourage anyone to abuse the masculine need to be a hero, but for good girlfriends and wives, I think it makes sense to embrace the weakness of being a woman. In 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, the Apostle Peter says to husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. Earlier, I mentioned how some people were raised to be husbands and wives, while others were raised to be independent. They're contrasting paths because as husbands and wives, we do depend on each other. This was God's design. And deep down, we all know it, right? How many of us feel alone? Where do you think that loneliness comes from? You need something. You're dependent on something. You're human. It's okay. It's all right. To be clear, women are strong. Bearing children takes strength. Self-sacrifice takes strength. Just show love and compassion towards your husband and kids, even on days where everything's just working your last nerve. That takes strength, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I have coworkers who I've known for decades. For a decade. I'm not that old. And they recently became mothers, and it's amazing just to see them. Their kids are their worlds. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. Compared to men, however, we are stronger. I'll let these ladies explain.
Are men and women equal?
No.
No. Men and women, did you say no as well?
I didn't vocalize, but yeah, they're not equal.
Explain why men and women are not equal. Go ahead. Allie, you want to go first?
We're just not the same. We're not the same. And if we're not the same, then how could we be equal? So we can talk about, women being equal, but I'm not even sure that that's a worthwhile conversation because there's always going to be somebody that has advantages in different areas compared to yourselves. Men are stronger and they're bigger and they can run faster. Because I don't know if you know this, but sprinting is more about strength. Like I can't sprint at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's things
I'll beat your ass in a race right now, girl.
right, and so I can attest to that because a lot of women think that they're as strong as a man, and that's just not physically possible. They have so much more testosterone.
What about in the workforce? Are men and women equal?
No.
There should not be?
Professional women cry in the bathrooms a lot. I don't think men do that. My boss did.
Your boss. Pearl, because you and Allie both said no immediately, and then Coco took a second, she thought about it. But why do you say men and women are not equal?
I didn't think about it. I just didn't say it.
Okay.
Well, men and women are different. We're not the same.
We're biologically different. Like we're just not. Yeah.
Well, women are chemically different every single day.
Woo! Preach.
So even I run a pretty successful YouTube channel. I have a show similar to this setup in my living room, and I bring people in. And a lot of my business decisions are run through men. And I think a lot of times you're gonna find successful women that there's a man behind them helping them with the decisions because men are just more logical than women because again we get our emotions into it because we're chemically different every single day.
But if you're still offended by the whole notion of weaker vessel, I have a link down below. This website has a really great answer about what it means to be the weaker vessel, and the author, he writes, as Christians, we understand the dynamics at work which are totally at odds with human viewpoints and worldly wisdom. This word weakness can cause great offense when there should be none at all. Women are weaker and need to be treated with understanding and respect. A woman who resists this loving care by her husband is robbing herself of the joy of being the weaker vessel. That's what the author says. And it's there in marriage that us men, we find our fulfillment and purpose, as I mentioned, if the woman lets him. In marriage, we get that need for companionship because it's not good for men to be alone. That's what Genesis 2:18. We're needed when it comes to having children and raise our families. Genesis 1:28 says, be fruitful and become many. And it's to contain our sexual urges. God knows this very well. He doesn't want us to engage in stupidly worldly customs like the hookup culture and sexual immorality. That's at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 through 5. Now, if you're not a Christian, I can imagine that all of this might sound like nonsense and patriarchal oppression, right? Maybe. But as I predicted, more and more women will be entering their middle ages speaking with regret about the decisions they made in their youth.
Hi, it's Helena, and I wanted to just address why I believe women, successful, attractive, intelligent, specifically black women, because I can only speak on black women because I'm a black woman, and why I'm single and why I think so many black women that are, amazing are single. Well, first of all, college education is not, it should not even be compared. Like if you have a degree, oh my God, you should definitely have a man. I did not go to college to get a man. I went to college to build a career and get a job, okay? So that should not even be compared to the two. They're completely apples and oranges. We do not go to school to get a man. But once you have gone on to college and developed your career, your business, and you're like, I want to be in a relationship, we still don't understand. I believe that 99.9% of women, single women, do not understand men, and that's why there are so many relationship experts, these men popping up telling us how men think how women should be treated and all of this. But I think it boils down to men have emotions, and once you understand that men have emotions just like we have feelings and emotions, and once you understand that men also have feelings, also have emotions, and you don't treat your education like it's a job. Now that you have this job, now you're supposed to have this certain kind of man. It doesn't work like that. You will see men, very successful men, with a woman with no education, or a woman, you know, she's a local waitress, and you know, like her. Men want a woman that's going to make them feel good. I can't think of a better way to say it. To make them feel good. Just like we want a man to make us feel good, a man wants a woman to make him feel good. He has emotions, and I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about being appreciated, being respected. A man does want to be needed, but the independent woman says, oh, I don't need your house, I don't need your car, I don't need your money. But he needs you to need him. He needs you to need his presence. He needs to feel appreciated. He needs to know that you're grateful. He needs to know that you're a safe haven where he can share his secrets and his insecurities and be vulnerable around you. He needs those things. And taking the time to really understand men is something that I'm just now learning to do, because in my relationships, the man was really making it about me, and I let him make it about me. And it was, to me, all about me. But as you continue to be in relationships that have the same cycle, you're like, hold on, am I doing something wrong? Not to say that in all the relationships that I was always doing something wrong, but I did not take the time to understand that men have emotions and feelings, and they want to feel like a king, and they want to be appreciated, and they want to know that you highly respect them. And I'm talking about the men, real men, not just your little fuck boys running around here. I'm talking about a real man that is a hard worker, that goes to work, take care of his kids.
And it's interesting, really. It really is sad. I started working on an essay about why it's my default to assume a woman's just being nice when she's maybe hitting on me. And I was doing research on Nikola Tesla. I was basically doing research on a whole bunch of famous men who went their whole lives without ever getting married and having children. Sir Isaac Newton was another guy, and Beethoven. These are all Christians, by the way, except Nikola Tesla. I don't think he was, though he did have Christian background understanding. On the issue of women in relationships, however, Nikola Tesla in his early years, he sounded a lot like the kind of guy I was during my white knight years. According to what I read, he felt unworthy of a woman and thought that they were superior in every way. And honestly, that is how I felt. I think a lot of good men feel that way. Like when you're in your early 20s, you haven't made something, you don't have any money, you just got out of college, you got this debt. When it comes to having a beautiful wife and raising a family, a lot of us feel like we're not there yet. We're not worthy yet. We wouldn't be a great father yet, right? So that's why, we bust our ass in our 20s for our family, for our foundation of a future family. But apparently, as Nikola Tesla got older, he said this in a 1924 article. In place of the soft-voiced gentlewoman of my reverent worship, has come the woman who thinks that her chief success in life lies in making herself as much as possible like man, in dress, voice, and actions, and sports and achievements of every kind. The tendency of women to push aside man, supplanting the old spirit of cooperation with him in all affairs of life, is very disappointing to me. That's what Nikola Tesla said. I felt it was important to include that because, that was 1924. Now, obviously, things have gotten considerably worse since then. Mainly because it's very interesting and it's very effective tactic to gaslight people and make it sound like there's something wrong with them for being disappointed. It's not, and this is, again, I blame it on the culture, but inevitably I blame it on Satan, his wicked design. Men and women were supposed to be married, supposed to be cooperative, we're supposed to be living together with, and complementing each other, but when you have one gender being pushed to act more like another gender, you're going to get this conflict. You're going to get this friction. It's like an earthquake, two faults being pushed against each other when they should be going the same way. So, ladies, if you have listened to my voice, if you have heard what I've said, and I really, again, I hope that this didn't come off as if it's sounding very like I hate you or not like that. I think if you are strong and independent and you want to keep going that route, it's going to make sense that you find a man who is, like I said, the stoic type. And I think even there, like popular culture, they push that. Men like me, we're thinkers. We're disgusting, right? We're the. All right, I think I might end it there.